Howdy y'all, and welcome back to I Am a Champion. So I wanted to take a little time and talk again on what it looks like to be a champion. And while I have never medaled in any specific sport, I have followed a lot of athletes in their careers, and I've watched many Olympics and the Olympians talking about how they got there, and I've noticed a few really important themes. Now, one of which I already talked about in a previous video, which was to every day make the decision as to how you can be a champion in that day. And I believe that that aspect, as well as the other two aspects that I'm going to talk on, one today and one later in this series, are really important not only to our physical life, but to our spiritual life. So today I wanted to talk about the second theme that I have seen through the years that I find really important, both physically and spiritually, and that is rest. Now, in our society, we really applaud people who can pretty much be on top of their game 100% of the time. They can have it all and do it all and never rest. Well, if you want to see how that doesn't work, just take a look at the movie How Does She Do It, starring Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't really recommend the movie, but if you want to see the aspects of what I'm talking about, it is worth at least looking at the little bio on it. But it's really important to not only work hard, but also rest. In the Bible, we have the Sabbath, and it's a very important day. It's in the Ten Commandments to not only remember the Sabbath, but also keep it holy. And a lot of people think of that as the seventh day in the week. For some Christian denominations, that means that Sunday is an important day. We go to church and we rest, or we get together, whatever it may be. For some, it's Saturday. For others, it's Friday. And some denominations, I'm sorry, my dogs are distracting me and so are my neighbors. Some denominations, it is so important to remember the Sabbath day that they actually don't do anything that involves technology, that involves being busy. They just rest and possibly read the Bible and really focus on God on that day specifically. And others, it's more of a day to do less, to spend time with family, and to read the Bible. But either way, it's resting from your normal daily routine. And in the Bible, it was so important that there was rest, that not only was there the seventh day, which even God took when he finished creating the universe. On the seventh day he rested. Not only is the seventh day important, but way back in the Old Testament, I can't find my notes at the moment to tell you where in the Old Testament, but way back there, God even told his people to rest their land on the seventh year. Every 7 years, they were not even to plow the fields or work the land. Could you imagine that? I mean, really, could you imagine working hard all year long, every year, to make sure that your family is provided for with food and with finances, and then God says, okay, every 7 years, you're just going to stop that, and I'll still provide for you. Not only was the rest of that important, by rest I mean rest, not the rest. Not only was rest for the land important because it would help the soil regrow, it would help the harvest be fuller the next year, but it would also really work on the faith of the people. Because you really had to believe that God would provide for you. If you're not producing for a whole year, that's huge. So, as for champions, in physical sense, rest is also important to make sure that they have enough energy, that they can keep going. I love that last night, Mikaela Shiffrin was skiing the slaloms, and they were interviewing her. It was either last night or the night before with her mom, and they were talking about how she calls herself a prolific napper. She is 22 years old, one of the most highly decorated skiers, like ever, for her age especially. And she doesn't just go out and party. No. She rests constantly. She's always resting. If you're not seeing Michaela on the slopes, you're probably seeing her resting. There are constant pictures of her taken by her team of her napping because it's that important to her. Her body needs that recovery so that she can go out and perform to her best ability. And I found that really cool. So anyways, she finds rest so important that because of all the wins, making every single competition for the downhill women back to back, day after day, she actually is not competing in one of the events. I believe it's Super G, but I'm not 100% certain. Because she knows that her body needs that extra rest if she's to compete at full ability. So I'm rooting for you, Michaela. I hope things go well. And I'm really grateful that there is a good example out there right now for young women that are coming up in athletics. And yeah, so rest is a really, really important aspect, both in sports and in your physical body, but also spiritually. So go out there and get some rest. I'm not saying sleep the day away and be lazy, but I am saying it's important to rest. Whether that be every 7 days, whether that be for you every like 5 days, or maybe it's once a month. You take a whole day off and turn off your phones and just rest. What does that look like for you? So that's my thoughts for today on what it means to be a champion. I'm sorry if this was distracting with all the wind and my neighbors, but thank you for coming along with me and for watching this far. Hope you're blessed. Go out there and be a champion. Bye for now.